Today I did a 30-minute meditation. These days my meditations have been quite short, 6, 8 minutes. But today I did a 30 minutes solid one. Um, and I decided to visit a task that I try to do every 6 months or so. It's basically where you sit down, the journal, and you write down why you do what you do. And this is something that's advised in many other places for entrepreneurship, etc., blah blah blah, success. But the key I find in this kind of task, in this task particularly, is allowing yourself to take a lot of time, almost to the point where it could be getting a little uncomfortable, right? I started this at 5:30 today. It's 7 o'clock right now, and they just finished writing down the things. Right, the first almost an hour, I was just pacing back and forth, not pacing, but walking around my room, verbally speaking to myself. Okay, I think it's important. I'd advise people to do this at least once a year. So I wanted to make this video to share with you guys what I came up with, because I don't think I ever shared it in a plain blank point like this. So let's get into it, guys. All right. So before I get started, I would like to point out one thing, what I realize. As we go through, a lot of the little details change, which I think is fine. Sometimes when you think about your why before, you might have put it very constructed. It constantly kind of evolves, but in my experience, the underlying direction stays the same if you are able to accurately pinpoint what your why is. I hope that makes sense. I'll explain a bit further further on in the video. But let's get into it. There's a couple reasons, several reasons why I do what I do, right? I would like to share the two main ones. Number one, if you go back to my video in 2015, one of my first jobs was selling office equipment door to door. I was in that job for almost 3 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And the reason I quit was this. And I'll try to find the video so I can link it, because I think it will really be interesting. It was basically this. I would have to go to this place in this room with its other people. It's by commission, obviously, and we'd get together with our little groupie, for lack of better words, whatever, they put us in like 3 or 4 groups, and then we would go out in certain territories around Westchester and would door knock for office supplies, right? Selling like freaking toilet paper and shit like that. Now, I was surprised that, actually going door to door wasn't that bad. Like, it's just going door to door. It is what it is. But what started to get me really pissed off is going to the office. I would have to wake up extra early, like I think it was like 5:30. I would have to wake up and catch the bus, and then take that ride, hour and 30 minutes. Okay, nauseating. The bus ride every day. It made me want to puke. The shakiness and stuff like that, how it smelled, and then go to that office for 15 minutes only. 15 minutes just to get hyped up. Because they would make you do like these little things, exercises. All right, guys, are you ready? We're gonna kill it. This is your numbers and all the shit. It's like a sales job. And then we'd have to drive back in this area, because where I was selling happened to be my area, right, not too far away from here. It's literally like 5-minute bus ride, and it was like a 3-hour back and forth every day. When I got that, which is what got to me, and I realized that, and in this video I explained that this is retarded. Why do you have to go 3 hours of your day to get in a room just to get hyped up about what you do? Like, if it sucks that much, like, there has to be something better. So from that time, I made a decision that the next place I want to go to, whatever it is going to have less structure. I want to be at a place where what I have to offer is more point blank. It's point blank. Like, I'm giving my service, and there's not much fluff around it. As long as I can perform at what I'm supposed to perform with, they should be happy with letting me be free. Okay, so I started looking into it, contacting, I emailed a few places, and then that's how I came across my life insurance job. Shit, my screen just went blank. Oh, it's supposed to. I think it's long enough. Um, that's how I ran into my life insurance job, right? Another sales job, and I contacted them. I let them know, like, hey, is there a way where I could be, where I don't have to come to the office? Soon as, like, soon after I got in, and it was close to me. That's one thing that helps. So I know that there's no way there's going to be some huge commuting, because commuting to me is stupid. Commuting to me is a waste of time. You're not really, traffic in of itself, I think, is the whole idea of parking, traffic, waiting, breathing in smoke, is just a nauseating thing to me. But that's more to the personal side. But on the other side, practical side, for that it can be generalized, is I think it's a waste of time, right? First thing you do in the morning is so fresh and pure, the energy and creativity you have, to be waiting in a bus, letting that shake out all your creativity, is just not the way to live. And I realized that early on. Anyways, I contacted them, and they said that, hey, if this is what you're kind of looking for, they said you're able to do it, but you're gonna have to hit ALP of like 3,000, 3,000 a week for like 3 months in a row or something, right? So that was basically like, you have to make the company basically $12,000 a month, 3 months in a row, if I remember the numbers correctly, for you to be free of the office. Like, meaning that you don't have to go to the office anymore. You can just be at home and sell, and whenever you sell stuff, you just have to go in there to drop the contracts every twice a week or some shit, right? This was for the life insurance job. That got me interested, because I realized, like, at least at the very most, it's something that I can maneuver through what I have to do to get the job done, and then I can be, just left to myself. Now, I never hit that mark, because I actually quit before I was even being able to go close to that mark. Again, you can check out my videos. It's way in the back. It's probably like, what, 3 years ago. But anyways, the reason I'm sharing this is because very early on, from experience and from the type of person I am, I realized that freedom of schedule is a massive factor in my overall happiness, period. What my values, freedom of schedule is a huge thing. Once I quit life insurance, the next thing I said, that I can't imagine being in another thing that has so much structure once again. Because even though you had so much, freedom, you could say, you could kind of like, you're out there selling, etc., whatever, it's still bound to so much rules, because it's still a job, right? At that point, I didn't really know. Right? When I was quitting, when I was starting to learn a little bit about SEO, online marketing, looking at Alex Becker, I didn't know that I'm going to start a business. I didn't even call it a business well into like 6, 7, 8 months or something like that. I was just looking at lifestyles where other people are, where I would like to kind of be. Right? Fast forward to today, I can say probably top reason why I do what I do is straight out freedom. Freedom of schedule, freedom of my body, right? It's kind of bizarre after you have been an entrepreneur for some time, that other people are still dictated every single day to be at a certain place at a certain hour, and that's what they do. It's okay. It's okay with them. Not bashing on anybody, but it starts to seem a little bizarre, right? Point is, this freedom means tremendous to me. All right. Other forms of freedom, and this is, I think, gets bigger and bigger the more, because once you start having freedom of schedule, you kind of get used to it. Like, all right, yeah, like this is what I do. You have your own problems then. Like, okay, I gotta find ways to be motivated because there's no structure to work out of. Right? It's like I dictate everything. That can be your own little problem then. The other freedom that I love, and as I was about to say, that it gets bigger and bigger. The weight of this freedom just keeps going, and you kind of get addicted to it. And that is this: the freedom to be able to treat life as a game. explain this? So, one of the common definitions of success is, I believe it goes like, working, having progressive realization toward an worthy ideal, right? Whatever you think is worthy in the world out there, progressively being able to realize that you're making your way through there. Perfect, makes sense. Whatever you think is worthy is a lot of it's dictated by yourself, your perception. And perception is dictated by a lot of things, but to keep it linear, you could say optimism and pessimism, right? If you're a pessimist or optimist, what kind of person you are. I, by default, is a pessimist. By practice, I'm an optimist. It cost me 3 years to understand the structure which allows me to rent that balance, if that makes sense. 3 years of twisting and turning between exercise, mind, body, meditation, understanding, reading, taking different ideas, embodying it, philosophizing it, contemplating between it. All these movements of understanding myself from the year of 2012 to 15, I would say, has taught me a structure which I know how to rent that optimism. If I stop meditating, if I stop exercising, if I stop eating my healthy diet, that optimism drops. I go right back to being a pessimist. That's where my default zone is, right? By default, I'm a pessimist. By practice, I'm an optimist, okay? The reason that matters is because between this dance, now that I'm in that balance, because I follow my practice, I found the way to have this balance. From this balance, I believe to be somebody who can accurately think about what I value. I know what is valuable to me. I can accurately think it. It's very hard for other things externally to bullshit me, because it's very hard to bullshit myself. I don't give myself a rest, a break when I'm bullshitting myself. It's constantly nagging because I know the path I'm going is not in line with myself. So I hope this makes sense where I'm coming from, right? It's dictated by the type of person you are, how you're pessimist, optimist, and the dance between that. I found a way to rent that balance because I have to constantly being able to do the things I have to do, daily meditation, eating right, etc. But from that point, I'm able to accurately foresee what is valuable to me. All right. Now, from that valuation, what I think is awesome, what I think I can go for, the freedom to be able to be in this dance and alter pieces of the puzzle and see its causation, see its effect in the reality around me. This freedom is priceless. Absolutely priceless. Being able to take things in and out of your day, week, and you're not getting clients to pay higher. Whatever your problem is. Now it's about positioning, so you can position yourself like that. Let's see how this works, that works. And be able to unfold the world around us by being able to take out and move the pieces like this, being able to treat life as a game, like in this manner, is so free, is so pure, that I'll gladly give up any kind of structure there is and any kind of guarantee whatsoever that the other side brings. You can call it job, you can call it anything else. That is one of the main things, right? When you're at a job, when you're at a big company and you're working under another thing, right? You don't get to foresee, you don't even get to see the effect. Somebody who's just standing behind the cashier, that's all they do. What they do. You think they get to feel the excitement of the owner when they released a new product in the shelf? Now all the kids in the neighborhood who is peanut allergic can now also enjoy like peanut tasting wafers because they came up with a new product. Now they're getting all this feedback from it, from the community, and being able to feel great. That owner is feeling that. You think the person and the cashier gets to feel any, like, do you think they even know what the hell this kid just bought and why he's happy? No. But as entrepreneurs, since we're so close to the mark, and this is why, your business is a reflection of who you are, because it's directly related to, like, it's kind of insane sometimes, to be honest. It blows my mind of certain realizations of what I think to be so about myself in between as a personality trait, and then I see almost as if certain traits, certain doors open up in the real world. It's crazy how this whole thing works. It's as if we're like in some kind of alter matrix that, who you are is a direct reflection of what is out there. That saying is very powerful. It's thrown around a lot, but it's actually literal. Point is, going back, that is one of the most valuable things, right? And that gets bigger and bigger. It just gets better because as we put more, we begin to believe in it more, right? Because we don't have to stifle what we think is valuable. We realize that, holy shit, if I do this, I get this kind of act. So we get a direct, quick feedback for what is possible. So we go more for it. That is priceless. Lastly, this is a somewhat a new one. Not new. It's probably been there ever since, but it's one that I can say now. And that is this. I'd somewhat like to be a role model. As I'm getting older, I'm not that young anymore. I'm 25. I'm gonna be turning 26 this October. As I'm getting older, I'd like to be somewhat a role model for young adults. 16, I would say 16, 18, 20, 22, whatever. Younger people who happen to have who live a lifestyle that cause society to tell them that they're less than. Teachers, maybe your parents, maybe you were a kid who, didn't really do good in school. Maybe you were, in the depths of drugs and addiction, whatever it is, right? And now you want to change. I want to be somewhat a role model to at least the people who follow me, my community, whatever, the people who come across me, that all those things don't even come close to, defining you. What defines you is what defines you. The things that actually matter that we're finding out as we go through this dance. It's not those shit. I want to be somewhat a role model for them because that's where I come from. That finished.